Wow, was that not awesome? Good morning, and welcome for Day 2 of Eradicate Hate Global Summit 2024. What a day yesterday was, and that was just day 1. We have so much to look forward to today and tomorrow, and we thank you all for being here. My name is Leslie Braxick. I'm a member of the Board of Directors of Eradicate Hate, and I'm just so pleased to have the opportunity to introduce our keynote speaker this morning, Major Garrett. Summit veterans who have been to the conference previously will remember that Major spoke at our very first summit, and he's been a great supporter of ours ever since then. He's a household name in the White House, the Capitol, and across the country. He's been reporting on the important events and issues arising from our nation's capital for over 30 years. We've seen him for the last 6 years as the chief Washington correspondent for CBS News. He's reported out very thoughtfully on critical issues and events of the day, such as ISIS, the Iran nuclear negotiations, racial strife in our cities, gerrymandering, and of course, the presidential debates and elections. He is without doubt one of the most respected, knowledgeable, experienced news correspondents in Washington. Like all of you, I am just so excited to hear from Major Garrett and are just so grateful for him taking time out of his busy schedule to be here today. Please join me in welcoming Major Garrett.
Good morning. It's great to be here. Thank you, Leslie, for those very kind remarks. Just a round of applause for Laura Ellsworth. She is the dynamic dynamo behind this entire enterprise, as you all know, and all of her colleagues at Jones Day. Before I start, I want to say something about this podium. I give a fair number of speeches, been on a lot of podiums in my life. I'm particularly honored to be on this podium this morning, and I want to ask you to do me a favor. Because I'm going to have to get back to Washington pretty quickly. I probably will not see Gabby Giffords. But I want you to do me a favor and tell her from me that I consider Gabby Giffords a living testament to courage and conviction, the embodiment of the truth that resistance to hate can be by turns fierce, peaceful, and patriotic. Which explains in part why I'm here. As was noted, this is not the most convenient time for me to leave the campaign trail or Washington, D.C., but where the mission of this summit is concerned, my convenience is immaterial. As I told this summit in 2021, when you ask, I will answer. I have, through this summit, been given the life-changing privilege of looking into the eyes of the family members whose loved ones died at Tree of Life. They go on. They live. They believe, despite plenty of evidence to the contrary, that humanity can find a glimmer of hope amid so many shards of despair. Every moment these families live have been rendered inconvenient, jostled by horrors and traumas. And yet, in that silence, they have found a calling, and so I have found a calling, just as you in this room have found a calling. I am told I have 7 to 10 minutes for my remarks. I will not take that long. This goal, eradicating hate, is so vast and complex that it instills within me a humility that compels brevity. I could, and I thought about this, attempt to tranquilize this room with stories of very difficult times past in America, of heated presidential elections where the margins were so close or the outcome so at odds with expectations that there were legitimate fears the entire system might come unglued. Let me list some of the years for you, so if you're so inclined, you can look them up yourself. 1800, 1824, 1860, 1864, 1876, 1916, 1960, 1968, 2016, 2020. I could also cite previous spasms of civil strife in our magnificent country: race riots, lynchings, purgings of native populations, labor riots, anti-immigrant violence, civil rights beatings and bombings, anti-war college campus bombings, assassinations, attempted assassinations. America has had them all, and much more. And yet we know something is fundamentally different just now. And it is urgent to your work that we know that the hate that led to those spasms of violence I just summarized now rides in a heedless speedwagon of technological amplification and acceleration, for profit amplification and acceleration. Your work, the work of this room, not only competes with the sometimes addictive nature of hate, but the profit motive behind its proliferation. Now, to be clear, I do not believe necessarily that hate is addictive, but I do know that its antecedents, fear, despair, loneliness, alienation, can reinforce and become somewhat habit-forming or feel more routine than harder alternatives. I do not want to venture beyond my admittedly limited expertise, but I want to offer this encouragement to all of you for this work. Hate is a prison. It has been said more than once by people much wiser than myself that the most diabolical prisons are the ones we build ourselves. Hate detests the nuance that comes with humanity. The prison walls of hate are built with the bricks of absolute certainty that nothing else can be true but the truth of hate. And as you also know better than I, hate can also masquerade as love. Love of a flag, love of a country or a homeland, love of a God, love of an idea, love of a constitution. We must admit that many of humanity's most savage crimes have been committed not in the name explicitly of hate, but in the name of a kind of beguiling love. As you also know better than I, by the time hate gathers the attention of the authorities, pretty much all that's left is damage control, mitigation, interception, minimization, the chase to contain, which leads me in conclusion to my testimony to you. Your work is the work of emancipation. Let me repeat that. Your work is the work of emancipation. You seek to free people in the thrall of hate. You equally seek to free people as hate begins to seduce. You mobilize, you intervene, you offer off-ramps, you venture into the swallowing darkness. You bring light, Yours is the work of emancipation. You do not hold all the keys to the prison of hate, but you seek to find them and then to hand them over as valuable as any keys in any kingdom. Keys to find a kind of liberation that, once achieved, rarely finds itself in thrall a second time. So I say to you, emancipate. Emancipate. Godspeed, and thank you.